Hi everyone, welcome to Rachel's studio, and in today's tutorial we're going to learn how to take pictures of your painting so that you can make prints or put your art on lots of different things. Oh, squirrel! Today I'm going to give you the tools to do it with some inexpensive options that you probably already have at your disposal, like a smartphone. We're also going to talk about photo editing software to zhuzh up that digital capture so that it looks really good when you print it out. So let's go ahead and get started. But first, remember, please like this video, subscribe, go binge my other content after you're done with this video, and show the algorithm that you love me so that I can get my channel in front of more people and bring you more fun, wonderful content, because that's what I love to do. Oh, there's the squirrel again. Okay, I have to focus. All right, let's get started with today's tutorial. Let's talk about a few tips on how to get good pictures with your smartphone or with your camera. I'm going to speak about my smartphone because that's how I take pictures. One really good way to do it is to take pictures outside when it's cloudy so that the values don't get really highly over contrasty, because a lot of smartphones think they're smart and they will adjust themselves for the conditions. And the best conditions I've found, and I've heard a lot of other professionals say this, that the best lighting condition is outside on a cloudy day, or in the morning when the sun hasn't come up but it's still pretty light, and you can take a picture that way. I have noticed that with my smartphone I can get pretty darn good pictures inside, and I will tell you just one little incident where I was taking pictures of one of my paintings and I put the painting on my couch, which is warm colored. It's kind of a yellow white. It's a warm white leaning yellow, and my picture had a yellowish cast. And then I took the same painting, I took a picture of it on my table, and my table is like a dark brown, and all the colors and all the whites and the white contrast and the white levels and the color levels, they all looked right. It didn't have like that yellowish hue. So if you're having problems getting accurate colors, try taking pictures of your painting in different areas, like with different backgrounds. Like I've got a blue table my son has, I could use that, or on my wood floors, which are very warm, or on a white table, or just try different things. So get pictures of your painting in several different lights, and check your camera settings and make sure that you're using the highest resolution possible. All right, first let's look at a Droid. This is my Galaxy Samsung Droid. It's a couple generations old, but it's a newer one. This is a Galaxy S9, but older phones take great pictures and the newer phones just get better and better. So I'm going to show you how to adjust your settings for Droid first. So I'm going to go into camera. You can also double click on this, your power button. I do believe it's the power button, and go into camera. And then you go to photo. Make sure you've got photo selected, and then you can choose this little gear icon right here. And I've got scene optimizer on, flaw detection on. That doesn't really affect much for me. Rear picture size, this is important. You want to make sure that your rear picture size, because this is the rear camera and you'll be using that camera to take pictures. So choose rear picture size and just go with the best resolution it offers. 4:3 ratio format is for an 8:10. 16:9 is for a picture that's in this format. I don't even know what that is. 1:1 would be for a square photo. Choose what ratio best fits your picture, and also choose the highest resolution. The bigger these numbers are, this is how many pixels are along one side. So 4,000 pixels means there's 4,000 pixels. Those are the dots that make up an image. So you'll have 4,000 pixels by 3,000. That's the best quality available with this camera. These are all video options. Camera modes, I don't use any special modes. I just use straight photo modes. There we go. Now we just make sure that we have the whole picture in the frame, and I've got to move my camera. In fact, I should choose the 16:9 format for this. So let me do that, because this is an oblong picture. So I just make sure I have this cropped in as close as possible. I push this little button to take the picture.
with these newer Galaxy phones, I don't know if the other phones allow this, but you can just say, smile, and see it just took a picture. But not all the Droids can do that. If your picture looks good, you think it looks good, that looks great. Those colors look accurate. I don't need to move my picture outside or onto a couch of a different color because that looks correct. I took this picture on a table that is next to a very big window. I'll show you. So that gives very good natural light, and your lighting situation may vary. So you may need to go and wait for a cloudy day or find a good window that has indirect light. If the sun was streaming in here, you could probably get a good picture, but the best picture I think is when there's no direct sunlight on your picture. But I have gotten pretty darn good pictures with direct sunlight on my picture. So you just have to play around and try different options to see what works best for your lighting situation. Now let's take a look at the iPhone, shall we?
Okay, now let's look at this same process with the iPhone, and I'm going to turn my iPhone on. So here we are with the home screen. All right, so let's go into settings and I'll show you what needs to be done, because there are some very important adjustments that you need to do on your camera to make sure that it takes good pictures. And iPhone has this weird setting, it's or a weird kind of file extension that's called HEIC, and that is not a very compatible file extension to use to make prints and things like that. So you want to be able to create pictures as JPEGs. So we're going to go to formats and see this high efficiency. You do not want that. You want most compatible. And I guess high efficiency pictures just don't take up as much space in your phone. They don't use a very high resolution, and so they don't make very good prints. So you want to make sure that you choose most compatible. That is the most important thing, I think, when you're using an iPhone. And as far as I can tell, you can't choose the resolution of your photo. It just takes the resolution that it takes. And that option is not given to you. But there is one place that you can choose a little bit that will adjust, but we'll look at that soon. So that is the most important thing to make sure that you have changed in your camera settings. So let's actually go into camera now. So now I'm going to turn on the actual camera. And the other thing that you want to make sure that you have chosen is in photo mode, there's this 1x and 0.5. And if you choose 0.5, that's going to give you the best resolution. 1 will zoom in a little bit and 2 will zoom in even more. This is like a digital zoom. It cuts into your resolution that your photo is going to take. So let's take a picture with this. And now I will go transfer it into my computer and we'll see what these look like. All right, you've taken a good picture. Now it's time to get that picture from your phone into your computer if you're going to do your photo editing on your computer. And that's what I would suggest. Now, there are apps that you can use your phone to edit and do everything, but I edit on my computer, so that's what I'm going to show you. But there are apps that you can use on your phone as well. Autodesk Sketchbook is a good one for that. But how do you get your pictures from your phone to your computer? And I include this because when I started making videos, I could not figure out how to get videos off my phone and onto my computer. But what worked for me for that was using a cord. So you can use a cord, attach it to your phone, the same cord you use to charge with. You can attach it to your phone, connect it to your computer, and download that way. But if you just have 1 or 2 pictures of one painting, it might just be easier to email it to yourself from your phone or use Google Drive, or I think it's iPhotos. And so I would suggest just email them to yourself. That's probably the easiest way. Oh, Kitty's licking my toe. Thank you, Kitty. Just make sure when you email them as full resolution photos, and that your email app doesn't make them smaller, because then you'll lose a lot of the resolution that you need to make really good prints. You just love me for my toes. All right, now you've got your picture. Now what? The next thing that I do once I take my picture is do some color correction. And usually it's more about value correction than color correction. I hardly ever have to fix my colors. My colors always look pretty great just from my smartphone or from a scan. but I almost always have to adjust the values, and I have to make the whites lighter and the darks darker and the mediums a little darker. And then that kind of pops the painting even more than maybe what it is in real life, but just a little bit, just a touch to really give it that little extra magic oomph. So I'm going to show you a screenshot of me doing that. I use Adobe Photoshop, but you could also use other free apps. I would highly recommend, if you are an artist that does not have Photoshop and you don't have any photo editing software and you want to make prints, you have to have some sort of app or a pretty good photo editing software. I'm looking at my computer now, and there is Photo Director Essential. There's GIMP Photo Editor. I Googled free photo editing software. The one that I am familiar with is Pixlr.com. It's been great for me, but Movavi, Pickverse, BeFunky, GIMP Photo Editor, you might want to take a look at all the editors available and decide what is best for you. I like Pixlr. I also like Autodesk Sketchbook. It is a learning curve, but if you're not sure how to do anything, and I don't cover that in this tutorial, just go on YouTube. There are a zillion tutorials on how to use all the apps out there. So there's plenty of information in this day and age out there how to learn a new skill to use a new photo editor. You don't have to pay for Photoshop if you're not a full-time professional artist. That's just too expensive. But that's what I have. I have their whole package. I edit my videos. I use the Photoshop every day, all day long. So I don't mind paying for it. But if you are just making a few prints and just wanting to have fun with it, I would just say stick with the free apps. Let me show you a little bit about Pixlr. All right, so you can get Pixlr by just going to Pixlr.com, and I like to use the advanced photo editor option, but you can play around with it, see what you like, but this is the one that I choose. And so just X out of that screen, and then you can click on Open Image, and then you just navigate to the folder where you have your picture of your painting and hit Open. All right, so of course you want the largest size you can possibly edit in so that you can have the best quality image, Ultra HD actually. I'm going to choose Ultra HD, hit Apply, and now I've got a rough image. And this is actually a picture I took with my phone. And so you can see the tape on it still, it's upside down. And if you look at all these capabilities, they're very similar to how Photoshop is laid out. So what I have found is once you learn one photo editing app, the other ones become pretty intuitive. So I just use the crop tool over on the left-hand side, all those little symbols. One of them is the crop tool. And then I'm going to rotate it by going to Edit, then Transform, and then Rotate. So I did 180 degrees. Okay, here I'm hitting Save. Of course, you want high quality. So this is over 3,000 pixels wide. That is really good. That would probably print out as a beautiful 16 by 20 even. So I'm going to name it Slumber Pixlr, Edit. I hit high quality and save as. I'm going to adjust the brightness and contrast. In Photoshop, you have a little bit more flexibility with this, but really this does a pretty good job. So I'm just using this application to show you that you can adjust the brightness and the contrast and just play with it until it looks good. You can pop up the saturation. You can change the hue. There's a lot of things you can do, and when you're happy with it, you hit Apply. And this is under the Adjustment tab up there along the top. And if you're unhappy with a change, you can go to Edit and click Undo. I don't know if Control-Z will work on this or not. Control-Z is the universal undo. Oh, they've got a heal. Okay, I'm gonna play around with this heal tool to see if it works. And heal tool will get, like, if you have a little splash of something on your painting and you want to get rid of that, you can use the heal tool and it'll get rid of that, at least in Photoshop. So I was checking to see how that heal tool works. And you can see down in the history, down in the bottom right corner where it says history, you can see what I'm doing. And if you want to undo things, you can undo them by clicking on a previous function that you did to go backwards, and then it'll undo whatever you just did. But here's a little spot I'm going to try to get rid of. See how it got rid of that spot, but then it made a weird another little weird spot on the ear, and then it messed up the ear. So, you just have to poke around and play around with this to get what you want. And then I'm going to save it. Of course, high quality. Now, if you're just saving the image to just post on your blog or whatever, then save it as a low quality so that it's a lot easier to store and a lot easier to upload and load on web pages. So I'm just hitting save. And it's really amazing how extensive this Pixlr app is. I haven't been on it in a while, and they have so many capabilities. It's really impressive that this is free. And you get all of this just for having to watch a few little ads. In keeping with the theme of this video, where I'm showing you a lot of different outfits, because really that's what you're really interested in, right? I hope you join me on Patreon, or at least join me on my Facebook group. I would love to have you there. We have a fun art community, and you can share your paintings and get feedback, and also give others feedback, and just enjoy each other's fun artistic comradeship. I don't know. We have a lot of fun together though. So join us there. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters who make this channel possible and make it so that my relatives don't laugh at me. I really appreciate that. And join me next week, because I'm going to talk about scanners. I'm going to talk about the scanner I've had for over 10 years. It's not expensive. They still make it, and it's well rated. I did some research. So next week, I'm going to have a really great tutorial about how to scan your art if you want to take it up to the next level. So don't miss that. So you're going to want to subscribe. And I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining me. Now go watercolor your world. Bye, everybody. What she really wants me to do is put the chair over there so she can get down, I think. Should we try it? That means she's going to leave, though. Okay, go. Yeah. Oh, you're going to stay? We appreciate that. Yeah, that's what I thought. Bye, kitty. Bye.